Hi everybody, this is Carolina Millan here, and today I have a very, very special guest that he's been really hard to get, I have to say. We have been talking for a while, but now we're finally doing it. Mr. Caleb Maddix, 16-year-old entrepreneur, very inspiring young man, and one of my friends in the industry. How are you, Caleb?
I'm doing good, and yes, this has been a long time in the making, but I have to applaud you for your insane persistence. Like I have so much admiration for it. Continue to reach out, continue to make it happen, and I'm glad that we're doing this now and ready to provide some value to all of the awesome listeners that are giving us their time and attention. So start off the interview. Thanks so much for your guys' time and attention, and we're gonna drop some value. Looking forward to it.
100%. You know, this is the definition of hustle. I even had to go meet you in person to make this happen. So, yeah.
You did. She did some intense things to do this, and that's why you guys tune into her podcast and her interviews, because she has that hustle for sure. She has the goods. So
awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you, man. So, one of the first things I want to talk about, of course, for the few people that may not know you yet, people who are listening to this or watching us on YouTube, tell us a little bit about your background. What was it like growing up for you, and also, you know, what was family like in your home when you were growing up that took you where you are today? I have a few more specific questions later, but just give us a little bit of background.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll give you the basic of my story, and this is the very basics, not going very in depth. It's been a long journey. Even though I am 16 years old, it's been a whirlwind for sure. But the gist of it is that whenever I was 7 years old, I went over to a friend's house, and my friend's mom walked up to him while we were watching some TV, sitting on the couch, tapped him on the shoulder, and handed him a $20 bill. And I remember just being confused of like, man, how did you make this $20? Because as a kid, you're trained money is a valuable thing. You want money, you're given money. Like you just understand that from a young age. And so I asked my friend, what did you do to get this $20? And he said that he did these things called chores. And anytime you would take out the trash or do the dishes or do the laundry or whatever it was, if he did that consistently over the month, at the end of the month, he would get $20. So I immediately went over to, as soon as I got back with my dad, the first thing I said immediately, I go, Dad, why have you been screwing me over? Right? I didn't say that like I said. Bob was like, dude, why have you been like lying to me? Why have you been cheating? He was like, what do you mean? I was like, I've been doing chores my entire life, but I haven't been getting paid for it. My friends are getting paid to do chores. I said, I want to get paid to do chores as well. And my dad said something that changed my life. He said, no. And I was extremely mad. I was like, what do you mean? I'm doing exactly what they're doing. Why can't I get paid for it? And the reason why is he said, whenever you're older, you're not going to get paid for the chores that you did, but what you will get paid for is the books that you read. So instead of paying me to take out the trash and do the dishes and all that stuff, my dad started paying me from that day forward $20 for every single success book and business book that I would read and write a report on. So that led to me, all these books you see behind me, it led to me having this insane hunger to learn, reading all these books, studying all these successful people, and it started to teach me the principles. I started having a lot of success in my life when it came to sports and all this stuff. And then people started wanting to kind of hear more about me and like learn more from me, and they wanted me to basically, a lot of parents wanted me to inspire their kids the exact same way that I was inspired, because I had this insane work ethic, and all these parents are like, you don't play video games. Like, why is this? So from that, like whenever I was about 13 years old, I had the idea to write a book. I wrote my first book called Keys to Success for Kids. Had a lot of failures, mess ups, stuff like that. But eventually I got the book to explode, and that's led to me living the life that I live now. I've written 9 books now. I own a publishing company where I've actually helped dozens of other people publish their books, which is kind of cool to see it full circle. I've had videos online that have reached over 40 million people. I'm a self-made millionaire. I've had the privilege of doing that. But really where it comes back to is the impact I've been able to make, and the people who've seen my videos on social media and didn't commit suicide because of them, or the kids themselves who have written books. So it's just an amazing thing to be living my life now. And that's basically how it started. Me being 7 years old, my dad started paying me to read those success books. And guys, that's the secret. People always ask me, they say, Caleb, what's the key to success? And I always say it's KEY. Keep educating yourself. Not formal education, not just school. Yes, if you're a kid, like try to get your best grades. But in the day, it really comes back to the books you read, the hunger you have to learn. And I feel like that has got me to where I am today. The person hungriest to learn will always be fed the most results. And that is a motto that I live by.
Wow, that's incredible. And this is just out of curiosity, but you're 16. At what point did you? And I'm going to assume that you're no longer going to regular school. Uh,
Yes.
at what age did you stop going to the typical school in the classroom, and this learning style that just doesn't work anymore today?
Yeah, for sure. So, I'm homeschooled now, so you made the right assumption because of how much traveling I do and stuff of that nature. So, we made the decision to be homeschooled a while back. I was midway through my 7th grade year, and we made the decision like, listen, the goals I have, things I want to accomplish, it just can't happen being in school 8 hours a day and then having homework after that. And the things I was learning, some of it was useful, but the majority I didn't actually need to know in order to get to where I want to be. So my dad, my mom, our family decided to become homeschooled. And what we started doing is, instead of doing 8 hours a day of school, I would start doing about 2 hours a day of school, getting the bare minimum, the basics that I needed to do, and then the other 2, 3, 4 hours will be spent with me doing personal growth. So it's been probably 4 or 5 years since then, which is crazy to look back. But yeah, midway
Wow,
through 7th grade, I decided to.
amazing. And you got like what, 1 year to go to be done with that? 2 years?
About 1 year, yeah.
Yeah.
It should be about 2 to 3 years for a typical, but I've worked ahead because I'm ready to be done with high school and be going on. So yeah, I got about a year left, and I'll be finished.
That's
Be
really impressive.
100% out there, ready to go, ready to go.
Yeah, I know. I love your energy. So what does, besides the school stuff that you still need to take care of, what does your typical day look like your typical working day?
A typical working day. So I'm very big into this. It's something I've actually discovered even more so in the past month, and even the past week, really been implementing it, is I am huge on routines. I feel like the reason why a lot of people are in ruts and stuck and places they don't want to be is because they don't have enough routines that guarantee momentum for them. So a lot of people, they just go through their life with a meh mindset, right? They're like meh, they kind of just go through life rather than a mission mindset. And I think that's the important shift. So for me, it's very routine driven. So I have my morning routine, then I have my nighttime routine, and then I have like kind of an evening routine as well. But it's the morning and nighttime routine are kind of like the bookmark, and then in between is kind of whatever I need to get done for the day. So about 5 a.m. I wake up. 4:45 a.m. I'll wake up, be ready for the day. I will get showered, all that stuff. I have a personal trainer who trains me for my health. So he, has a couple different things that I have to do in the morning, like, supplements, different stuff like that. So I'll do those really quick. I will go for an intense run, complete an intense workout. I'll hop in the hot tub, get in the sauna, swim a few laps, and then I'll come downstairs and I'll write out all my goals for the day, and for like my life, like the goals that I've set for myself. I'll write those out. That way I'm starting my day with that mission in my mind. And then from there, I'll sit down and write what I'm grateful for, start like kind of with gratitude. Because man, the first shift people really need to make is understand living is such an extraordinary, blessing. It's such an extraordinary thing.
Oh yeah.
And especially not only to be living, but to be living in 2018 or 2019, whenever you're watching this, like the abilities we have. You know what I'm saying? Like me at 16, a kid can put in just as much work as I did 30 years ago, and they're not going to be able to reach as many people as I am. But because of the tools we have. So I like to start my day with gratitude and get into that mode because I just believe there's no reason to ever complain. So start with that gratitude in mind. And then, I'll complete a couple more habits that I have. And then about, 8, 9 a.m., I'll hop on a meeting with my team and we get ready for the entire day. What do we got to get done? What videos do we have to film? What calls do I need to make? What meetings do I need to have? And we just completely map that out. We go through our values and stuff. And then at that point, we'll work all day. And then about 5 p.m. is whenever my nighttime routine starts, and I'll just basically debrief from the day. And I do that every single day. That's just how the day goes. Morning routine gets me started. Then I have my midday, which is like just all the work I need to get done, all the priorities, work by priority. And then nighttime is just kind of ending the day, finishing it, and winding down. That's how my day typically works. And then in between the meeting and the habits and all that is usually whenever I get my schoolwork done. So it takes about an hour a day now for me to do my school.
Well, that's powerful, and that's certainly a routine that many of us could follow as well. Like that's really, really good. Thank you for sharing. Do you dedicate any time to like downtime? I don't know, like where you just watch a movie or see your friends? What do you like to do during that downtime?
Yeah, for sure. That's actually I'm very focused on downtime because I feel like a big problem with a lot of entrepreneurs is they go really hard for a long time, but then they burn out. They have health issues, right? I think it's very important that you do take that downtime. You take time to relax. So for me, like I said, about 5 p.m., whenever I'm done with my actions. Because another thing I think that's great and all to say, like, you need rest, but I feel like people live in a rest rut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're constantly in that rest mode. Sometimes you got to just break through. Like, it does take an insane level of work. And you're not going to have an average life. If you want to do amazing things, accomplish great things, you're not going to have the typical downtime life where you can just be hanging out with your friends, all that stuff. There's a lot of sacrifices. But at about 5 p.m. every day, I try to do something to unwind and to chill. So whether that be I'll watch a show, or whether that be my dad and I will go play basketball or tennis, or, you know, on Wednesdays and Fridays, I hang out with my friends. So sometimes I'll do that. It really just depends on the night, but I always have that time to relax and cool down for a little bit. So I make that a priority. That's the thing. You got to understand, you have so much time in your day. My least favorite excuse on the planet is when people say that I don't have enough time. That's absurd. You have just as much time as any other human being has. Oprah has 24 hours. Bill Gates has 24 hours. Elon Musk has 24 hours. The top athletes have 24 hours. It's not about how much time you have. It's about what you do with that time. So when people say, you know, what do you do with work-life balance? It's a flow. You fit it in. Whatever your priorities are, you make time for it. So you can say that your health is your priority, but if you choose, you know, a Netflix series over going to the gym, then health isn't really your priority. Where you spend your time, that's where your priorities truly lie. So when people say, I don't have time to go to the gym, that's crazy. Because I look at their day and they spend 2 hours, you know, scrolling Facebook. You can use that time. So for me, that's why people say, like, how do you have time to hang out with your friends? I make time for it. You know, when you work consistently, you don't have to work 72-hour days and only be working. If you have the flow, you can get into that thing. And that's one thing I found. You know, you study people like Richard Branson. He does tennis every morning. He goes swimming. He relaxes, yet he still gets so much done. You look at Jeff Bezos, same thing. I was with a 28-year-old billionaire, and he showed me how his days operate. You got to get into that flow and that momentum, and just whatever your priorities are, fit that into your day and cut out all of the other distractions. That's the key. Make sacrifices. There's people in your life that are distractions that you need to cut out. There's things that you do. There's addictions you have. Whatever that thing is that distracts you, cut that out, because if you're really on a mission to do big things, there's no room whatsoever for distractions.
You got it. You got it. Yeah, and I think the key for you and for many people is you start really early. So 5 p.m., it's like, wow, you got so much done, and you still have the whole day ahead of you to do whatever anything else that you want to do. Where for other people, they finish their workday at 8, 9 p.m. and then they're too tired to do anything else that is worthwhile, like playing basketball or tennis. So that is a great lesson.
And that's the thing. Like, I pride myself a lot in that. That's why I wake up at 5 a.m. because I love seeing people's stories that they woke up at 9, 10, right? And they're starting their day. And I think, I've already read, wrote out my goals, worked out. Like, I looked through all the list. And that's how I feel. Like, I don't feel guilt. Entrepreneurs, here's another thing. Yes, you want to be working hard and putting the time, but you got to get rid of guilt. Like, stop feeling guilty if you take time off. If you take time off and feel guilty for it, it actually reverses it. Like, it's not even worth taking that time off if you're going to feel guilty because you're stressed the entire time, feeling bad. Understand, we're also human beings. We need that time off. So for me, it's like, I don't feel guilty taking time off because I know I've been working from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. I put in 12 hours. I've earned it.
Exactly.
The problem I have is whenever people take time off before they've earned it. You have to earn that time off and then feel good about it, debrief, and be like, heck yeah, I deserve to sit back and chill right now. I deserve to be with my family and all that. But you got to earn that as well. It's the balance you have to kind of have in your mind and in your time, and it's just that mindset.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, especially about the guilt. Even I have days where I feel guilty, where it's 2, 3 p.m. and I'm like, oh, I haven't done anything yet. You know, we all have those days, right? But as long as you don't make that the habit, then, you know, you got to keep going.
100%.
So when did you discover that, I guess it was probably around age 11, right? When you were sharing this. But when did you discover you wanted to be independent, that you wanted to be an entrepreneur and spread this message that you have?
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate. I have my dad, and he's an entrepreneur, been an entrepreneur since he's 18. So that was a really good role model. And people tell me all the time, they're like, Caleb, you're only successful for your dad because of your dad. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like I literally feel like one of the most lucky people on the face of the earth to have the dad that I have. And that's why I do what I do also, is because I feel like there's so many kids out there and so many young people who don't have the dad I have, and I almost want to be able to be that inspiration for them. So go back to the question. I went off track for a second.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Go ahead.
What was the moment where you discovered, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur,
yes, okay.
and I want to spread this message and make money and all of this?
Yeah, so for me, it was that, but at the same time, my dad always instilled in me greatness and success. And one thing that I found from reading these success books and reading these business books was that all the world's most successful people and all the people that make the biggest difference, they're entrepreneurs. And to me, that was really, really appealing, right? So I think the reason I am an entrepreneur is, number one, being exposed to my father and how his entrepreneur, he always taught me to be selling and stuff of that nature. But another thing is kind of just seeing in these success books, these business books, seeing all of the greats, all the people that have the most success, they are entrepreneurs. And then just realizing I don't want to work for anybody else. I think it was like 10 years old that I started hearing all these people complaining that they were working jobs they hate. And it just didn't make any sense to me as a 10-year-old kid of like, what do you mean you hate your job? Like, change it. And I thought, they used to always say, you don't understand though. And I used to think, oh, I'm 10, I don't understand. But then whenever I started seeing all these people that are making money using ClickFunnels and stuff of this nature and doing what they love doing, it just exposed me to a new light. And I think also a part of it's just natural, just being around the energy and environment of entrepreneurship. I just started selling at a young age and stuff of that nature. So I think it's all of the things combined that just came into play.
Yeah. What would you say to parents, right? Because you are lucky indeed that your dad was so understanding, that he was already an entrepreneur, that he inspired you to read all these books, right? But what would you say to other people, like parents who have kids who follow you perhaps, or follow someone else, and these kids, they want to be independent, they want to be entrepreneur, but their parents have no idea how to handle it. What would you advise to these parents who might be listening? I don't know.
Yeah. I would say, number one, embrace it. If you're lucky enough to have a kid who already has that mindset, whatever, embrace it like crazy. And the way you do that is, number one, through education. So I would say start having them read success books, start having them watch YouTube videos, start having them watch me, right? Little plug right there. Start having them listen to podcasts like this whenever they go to school. And, that's number one, embrace them through education. And number two is embrace them through affirmation. Start like, anytime you see them having those tendencies, right? That's why I've said to parents who maybe your kids aren't very motivated, don't always be down on them whenever they're not motivated, but whenever you catch those moments where they find something they're motivated for, affirm them like crazy. Be over the top. Like my dad and my mom, like anytime whenever I was younger where I would do a little thing right, they would go crazy about that. And I'll be like, man, so like if I do this, then this is what they're proud of. And I started to have this hunger to do that. And I started doing those things more. So I feel like that shaped me into who I am today. So I'd say those two things, education and affirmation. They rhyme and everything. It's perfect, right? Those two things. So like, go with that. Seriously, like if I could encourage every parent out there for you guys to understand the importance of getting your kids having a hunger to learn at a young age. Like for me, my dad's asked me this before because we have interesting conversations. Because my dad has been the perfect dad, right? He's unbelievable, and he's asked me like, what are you going to be like as a dad? And one thing that I've thought about whenever I do end up having kids is my number one focus is going to be instilling an insane hunger to learn into them. Because if a kid has a hunger to learn, that's going to translate into success. That's going to translate into, because when they're going to start asking the right questions, they're going to start wanting to know more. And eventually they're going to fit the puzzle pieces together that ends up leading to them finding their fulfillment and happiness. So it's those two things are major: education and affirmation.
Impressive, yeah. I think there are so many kids who get mistakenly diagnosed with ADHD and all of these stupid things when really they're just hungry to do something else with their lives than just sitting in a classroom. And so it's so important to educate parents on this. So you were spot
100%.
on.
Whenever I was younger, a lot of my teachers thought I had ADHD. But I call it entrepreneur's disease is what I've translated it to, right? Because how can you get mad at a kid for being hyped and like wanting to do things and like not wanting to fit the mold? Like it blows my mind of, if you look at the most successful people, here's what I'm saying. It's really hard to fail if you just look at the people who are succeeding, right? If you look at the most successful people, all of those people are the ones who completely like forgot about the system. The ones who completely broke the mold. The ones who completely, so I think the kids who are different, why would you suffocate that rather than embrace that? So that's just my opinion right there, just throwing that out there. And that's the key, honestly, looking at the successful people and then just completely punting what you've ever been told, getting rid of that, like that mindset. The key is like, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger says, right? You know, I had the privilege of going over to his house, and I was watching one of his speeches, right? And he's talked about how, you know, the only rule is to break the rules. And that's the mindset that I kind of have. You know, if you want to be savage, you can't be average. There's a little tweet right there.
Love it. Love it. That's good for a bumper sticker.
Bumper sticker. I like
it.
I like it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, you have met so many wonderful people. I mean, I think you met Stallone as well, right?
Yes. Actually, I'm going back over to Arnold Schwarzenegger's house in about 3 weeks. So I'll be going back. And whenever I was there last time, Sylvester Stallone was also there. So we all got to kind of hang out. It was a really cool thing.
Okay, one of these days I need to tag along. You'll have to let me know. I'll fly there. Like I get on a plane tomorrow and I'm there. Okay, so yeah,
make it happen.
Let's make it happen, man. I love it. So, who is your inspiration? Like from all these amazing people you've met, besides your dad, I know he's number one. Who else is like a big inspiration? Whether you have met them or not, whether they are alive or dead. So who else do you look up to, or someone else that you love?
Yeah, good call. Saying I can't say my dad because that would obviously be my first choice.
Yeah.
Russell Brunson has been a huge inspiration to me because he showed me, number one, he's a genius. So I've learned so much from him. But he showed me how you can have success and then also have amazing character, have a great relationship with your family. He's just somebody that I really look up to and I aspire to be. And like, he's one of those people that if I end up where he is, where he's at now, you know, by the time I'm his age, I would feel really happy just because he has such a great relationship with his kids. He's having so much success. He has such a great tribe. Russell Brunson's been a really big role model for me. Obviously, Tony Robbins was a big inspiration growing up. And then, you know, really all the billionaires, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, you know, Warren Buffett, Richard Branson, all those people. And then a lot of the legends as well. You know, I read a lot of stuff from Sam Walton, who created Walmart, Walt Disney, who created Disney. Martin Luther King is an insane inspiration to me. Thinking about like the movement that he created without social media, that blows my mind. So I just think with social media, he would it's insane. So he's a huge inspiration. You know, I have a lot of inspirations. My dad is obviously the main one, but I take a lot of inspirations from people who aren't at that level. You know, I take a lot of inspiration from the homeless people I meet in the streets. It just makes me, you know, because I've been on over 53 mission trips with my dad. We go out every single Friday night and we go serve the homeless. You know, it's just been something I've done, you know, ever since I was extremely young. So I love hanging out with these homeless people because you realize it gives you perspective.
Yeah.
And you realize like, man, like it's really inspiring to me to see these homeless kids on the street and think, you know, I complained over here because someone wrote a mean comment on my Instagram. And yet these kids are living on the streets. Like it just brings a lot of perspective. So that's a lot, that's really inspiring to me as well. I'm just inspired by life. By just the fact that we're here, that you know, I was born in America, that I was born in Florida, that I was born into such an amazing family, that I was born into perfect time, that I'm alive in general, that I'm alive and healthy, that I'm alive and have all my limbs. Like life's just so good. How can't you be inspired? Like that's just the mindset that I have. People are like, I'm in a rut. I'm like, okay, open your eyes. Like you're in a rut because you're in yourself. Get out of yourself and get into the world and understand. So it's a beautiful thing. And there's a lot of brokenness out there. And you're the luckiest human being just to be alive and be listening to a podcast like this. Like, man, life's good. That's what inspires me as well.
You got it. And having all our senses, you know, and there's so many little things that we take for granted every day, you know, the oxygen in our lungs. And I think if more people adopted this mindset that you have, the world would be so different. So thank you for that.
You're very right, 100%.
Yeah. And by the way, that's beautiful what you guys do. I've seen, sometimes you share on Instagram when you guys go feed the homeless.
Yeah,
I
the
think
stories.
That's amazing. That's beautiful.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's the secret. Real quick before we move to the next question. That's the key. Everyone, you know, people wonder how we've been with, you know, billionaires and Arnold Schwarzenegger, all these people. Truth is, before you can connect with billionaires, you got to connect with Billy. You know, got to connect with Billy on the side of the road. Before you've got to, if you have the right intentions, it's impossible to lose. It really is. If you just really care about people, you want to see people win, you care about making a difference, and impact is more important than income, you're going to have real results and you're going to see yourself in opportunities you never thought. But the key is you're sincere about it. And if you're in a low place in your life right now, I'll give you one piece of advice. You don't need to hear anything else except this one thing. when nothing's going good for you, go do something good for somebody else. Make it your focus to be giving. Make giving the goal. As the secret to living is giving, like Tony Robbins said. So yeah, to me, like all the, I was just on Instagram Live a little bit ago with my guy Jeremy. He's killing the game, and he asked me like, what's the number one accomplishment I'm most proud of? And I was like, honestly, the number one accomplishment I'm most proud of is the mission trips I've been on and the homeless. Because at the end of the day, all these accomplishments and glamour and all stuff is cool, but it's the impact that really makes a difference, and that really brings true fulfillment at the end of the day anyways. So
you got it. You got it. That was one of my questions, so you answered in advance.
Bam. There you go. We're on the same wavelength right now. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're connected. If anybody wanted to contribute to this work that you do with the homeless, do you guys just do this yourselves, or do you have a foundation or something, or do you guys get together with a group of people? If somebody in Florida wants to be a part of it, what can they do?
Yeah, for sure. So it's not an organization, nonprofit, nothing. It's literally just a group of people in St. Pete. My dad and I have been doing it, just us two, since I was 6 years old. So we've been doing it for a long time. But recently, we started having some of our friends come out in the past 2 years, and it really just started to grow. They invited their friends, and now we have about over a dozen people that just come out every single Sunday, and we just go under the bridge and just serve the homeless. So as far as what you can do, yeah, if you want to really come to serve St. Pete in St. Petersburg, Florida, you're in the area, message me on Instagram at Maddix, and we'd be happy to have you come out. And there's a couple of things you could probably bring, and it'd be a fun time. But really, what you can do to contribute, we have a lot of people that reach out for donations and stuff like that. That's not really our main focus. For us, the biggest donation you could give is your time, either coming to us or, most importantly, creating kind of what we do in your own city. We have Serve St. Pete, but there should be Serve San Diego and Serve Idaho, or not Idaho. Idaho's the state, right? But like what what I'm saying. There's we want it all across America. So you can reach out to us for some advice on how to get it started. But honestly, get some of your friends and just go out to your local homeless shelter, prison, wherever. It's not just homeless, right? Whatever you can do to make a difference, and go out and do it. That's for us. That's the biggest donation that you can make.
That's right. Amazing. All right. Excellent. Back to the topic of reading and books, because I see that shelf. I don't know if you've read all of those. Maybe you have. Maybe you have read more than that.
I've read the majority of these. Yeah. I have not read all these. What you see? Did you see this one bookshelf? But we have 3 more in here, and then we have 2 more in storage. So we have a lot of books. So I haven't gone through all these, but I've gone through the majority of them.
Big amount. What would you say from the books that you've read? What was your favorite? And from the books you've written, what was your favorite so far, and why?
That's a good one. A lot of people, I've never gotten that question before, believe it or not. I've read 9 books and nobody's come up with that. So shout out to you for that. So favorite book. So if you're talking about life, success principles, is probably my favorite one. It's just a great book about mindset, about, just getting into follow the principles of success, because truth is, success does have principles. It has steps, it has secrets, and it's just like a door, right? If you have the key to a door, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you are, skinny, overweight, famous, known by nobody, broke, rich, black, white, Asian. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have the keys, it will open. So Success Principle does a really good job of telling what those keys are. Another book I love is called The Positive Dog. It's like the shortest book I've read. It's super small and simple, but it's a really good one about life and positivity. And then The Power of Positive Thinking is another really good book. So those are for life. As far as business goes, my 3 favorite business books are Think and Grow Rich. That one's just legendary. A lot of the classics I really like because that's why they're classics. They get results, right? So Think and Grow Rich is powerful. And then obviously my 2 ultimate favorites are Expert Secrets and .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. Those are the two legendary business books for sure. And then as far as my book goes, my favorite one, actually it's the one I'm writing right now. I'm writing a book. Haven't launched it to the public, so I can't share the title and all that stuff, but it's going to be a book for young entrepreneurs, most likely. And it'll definitely appeal to non-young entrepreneurs as well, but it's specifically to that. And this one's going to be really, really good. I've written, my other 9 books have been to kids, which they've all been amazing. So my favorite book I've currently written is Keys to Success for Kids 2.0. It's just I love that book because it gets so many kids results, but I have never written a book to actually entrepreneurs. So I'm really excited about bringing this one out and just dropping content on content on content inside this book and blowing some people's minds. So the one I'm writing. So get ready for that. That'll be
all right. When is it launching? approximately?
Don't know yet.
You don't even know that?
Actually, today I just had the first meeting with the chief editor of Maddix Publishing. She's going to be the one editing this book, obviously, because she's the legend, right? But so we just talked today about how we want everything to look, and we mapped out some of the content, some stories, and some stuff of that nature. And I can already tell it's just going to be the best book, because we're not putting this out until we know that it's going to really change some lives. So
for sure.
Not exactly sure what the launch, but we'll be getting those details soon.
Yeah, we'll get them soon. And I'm gonna want an autographed copy, okay?
Hey, you already know you're gonna get 3 of them. Forget one. You deserve 3.
Awesome. I can give one away.
We'll send it over to you. Hey, I like that. That's good. Oh, to the podcast listeners.
Oh,
yeah.
See what
I do.
Yeah, for exciting. Sure. All right. Awesome answer, by the way. Thank you. Now, I know you're going to cover this in your book. You just said, however, what would you say are some of the key steps that anybody listening, young, old, whatever, needs to follow if they want to start their own business? Yeah. According to your experience.
So people mess me with this all the time. As far as the legal stuff goes, Google it. That's what I'm saying. So as far as like getting set up legally, you got that.
Yeah, we're not advisors or tax people though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying exactly. So you got that. And then as far as actually starting, I would say first key is only start one business, max it out, like go to make it work as much as possible until your intuition says either this doesn't work, and if it doesn't work, then end it. If it does work, then go all in and do not start anything else until that business made you financially free. That's one thing I found. A lot of people try to start and do way too many things. You have to be focused. Like the key to making money, MONEY, is to take the outside 2 letters and take the inside 3 and switch them. It's my one, money, my one. So I feel like you got to find your one thing if you really want to have true success. And then whenever that's flowing on its own and it's automated and it's rolling and it doesn't require a lot of your time, then you can branch out and do other things and do that. If the business doesn't work that you start, that's fine. Listen, go with your intuition. Sometimes it's good to, if you really believe in it, go to the very end. But if you can tell that it's just not something the market wants, don't ever shove something down the market's throat. If it's not picked up by the market, then you need to put it on hold, right? That's one thing I've found is you can think an idea is amazing, but if the market doesn't think it's amazing, you're just sitting there with no money and an amazing idea that you believe is amazing, right? It has to be actually fit to the market. So if you feel like it's not and like you feel like it didn't work, start another business, do the exact same process. If that one works, great, go all in. If it doesn't, start another one. And my advice would be fail as fast as possible, because I know that your first company, it happens sometimes, so I'm not taking your hope away, but the majority of times your first company is not going to be the one that is like that's going to make you the most money, right? That's just how it goes. So fail as fast as possible. Just like be putting stuff out, be scrappy, just be going and just get all the beginning entrepreneur days out of the way and you'll be rolling. So there's some practical tips right there and some advice that I've learned in my own life. And this advice that if I was looking at 8-year-old Caleb, I'd pick him up by the ears, I'd scream that exact advice to his into his face, because that's what I believe as far as starting the business is the key. And start it now. Don't overthink it. Don't wait. There's 7 days in a week. Someday isn't one of them. Stop saying someday I'm do this, someday I'm do that. Speed is the key. Get it out there as quick as possible right now, today. Get it started, going, and yeah, I mean that's the key. Way too many people just live in a rut of like, I'm gonna do it. I would say the gun that kills the most people is the gunna. People say I'm gonna write a book, gonna start a business, right? Don't say you're gonna. That's you're killing yourself with that gun called gonna. You're killing your dreams with that gun called gonna. Go after it now.
Amazing. That reminded me. There's a saying by Tony Robbins. I've been to all of his seminars. There's one where he asks this question: when is now a good time? So it's like a tricky question, right? When people are like, when should I do this? When should I start? Well, when is now a good time? Oh, well, now.
Yeah.
So it's a good one.
I love that.
Yeah. Now, this is more from the writing perspective, especially because I've been struggling a lot with writing my own book. Like I started like 18 months ago and I only have like 6,000 words or something. I've been really struggling with this. So what's your advice to somebody who really wants to write a book? They have the idea, they have the content, but they have no idea how to structure it or where to start. Like, how do you plan out your books so that you get them done in the time frame that you need to get them done and all that? Any tips you can give?
Yeah, so I could give practical tips right now, but I think what's going to provide the most value to your audience is if I just tell you something that Maddix Publishing and we do that actually help you more than anything. We do these things called free consulting calls, and we created it because there's so many people out there that have an amazing book idea, but don't know how to get started. They don't know how to put it out there, don't know how to put it into words. Then they may have it, but they don't know how to promote it. So if you have any questions about writing a book and you want to learn from my dad and I, who have written 18 books, we have, either we'll take the call and do the call, or we have a team of experts that we've trained very thoroughly on how to write a book, and they'll help you out as well. So if you want to schedule a free call, it'll be about 30 minutes long, and we will answer your questions, provide you some value, and do some big things. Then you can just go to maddixpublishing.com/call. So awesome. Maddix publishing.com/call, maddixpublishing.com/call, and we'll hop on the phone with you guys there. So as far as that goes, yeah, I mean, we'll help a lot of people out with that. That's why we created it. So I love when other people ask questions like that, because then we get to share that opportunity with them.
No, thank you for sharing. Definitely. I was going to ask you about that, but you keep answering the questions ahead of time. That's awesome.
So that's how it is. When they're same wavelength, like this, it just happens.
Okay, here's a question that you probably get asked a lot, or not, I don't know, but you're young. You're very young. So where do you see what is your vision, I should say, for the next 5 years, the next 10 years? What is your plan? What is your vision? Where are we going to see Caleb in the next 5 to 10 years?
I'm going to impact a lot of people, and I'll make a lot of money. Those are the two things I can promise you. So that's a tricky question, because, I have some goals and visions for 5-10 years down the line. I want to be a billionaire by 30. So that's a goal of mine. So I have a lot of goals in advance, but to be honest, I try not to think too far, 5-10 years, because I understand, how different I'll be then, how much I'll change, how much my desires will change, how much my mission will change. Everything is constantly changing, especially at my age. Because I think, where was I 5 years ago? I was 11 years old. And I think about how different I was and how much little I knew, or how much less I knew. So I think to myself, I want to set those goals 5-10 years, but honestly, I'm not exactly sure. I know my destination, but I don't know the vehicle. So I don't know what business it's going to be with, how I'm going to do it. But the destination I'm always going to be pursuing is freedom. Number one, freedom for myself. I don't want to be 20 and be looking for a job. I want to be 20 and be providing jobs. I want financial freedom. I don't actually freedom of doing what I love. I don't want to be locked down by somebody. I want that freedom for myself. But number two is freedom for other people. I know that I will always be fighting to help more people get free. Whether that be the videos I do, the interviews I do, where there may be somebody who's thinking about committing suicide, and we inspired them, and we gave them the freedom of life. That's really powerful. Or maybe someone, they're not in that low place, but they just need that extra edge to get their message out there. And one thing I said in this interview is going to make a difference. I want to give them that freedom to pursue that. Or whether it be Maddix Publishing, helping people write their books to go after their message and their mission and their goals and pursue that. So for me, it's freedom. I know it's what I'll always be pursuing throughout my entire life. Freedom for myself. So the vehicle may change, but the destination is the same. And the freedom for other people. That's what I'll be pursuing in 5 to 10 years.
You got it. And I remember reading, I'm not sure which book, because I've read quite a few books myself too, but I remember that the problem with making a 5-year plan is that exactly what you said. So much is going to change in between and mess up your plan, and then you'll be frustrated. So instead, it's much better to just set up 90-day plans, and then, just have a vision. Like you said, have a vision of where you want to be, but don't plan it that much, because it's going to change and you need to be prepared for that. Sure. So
I do got to go in a second because I have a quick call, but I do want to add on that, because I agree with that. A lot of people, I was actually, when I had the meeting with a 28-year-old billionaire, we sat down and I asked him what's been his secret to becoming a billionaire. And I was like, did you know how you were going to do this? Did you have a plan? And he said, I don't create 5-year plans. I don't create year-long plans. I don't create business plans. He said, I create daily plans. He said, I wake up every single morning and I say, what is 5 things? He has a goal. So he has a vision, right? That's the key. And he says, I wake up every morning and I say, what is 5 things I can do today that will edge me closer to that goal? And he wakes up and he said, that's his business plan. He'll execute on that. He'll do that. And that's how he became a billionaire by 28 years old. A billionaire, 28. He did 5 things every day. And that's what he advised me. And that's how I live my life is, what do I need to get done today? It's going to get me closer. And I feel like if you do that, you're going to be in happiness, And I think a lot of people, yes, it's important to have goals because you can't score without a goal. I write out my goals every morning. I have goals, so many goals for this year, things I want to accomplish. You always have to have a mission in mind. But too many people get caught up in like a long-term goal that it stops. You need a vision. You need short-term goals, but long-term vision is how I view it. You need a short-term, like, here's what I want to get done, right? Like, here's what I want to accomplish. Here's what I want to make happen. But a long-term just vision of how you want your life to look and be pursuing that on the daily.
You got it. Caleb, thank you so much for your time. Finally, where can people find you if they want to reach out to you and learn from you?
For sure. Before I plug me, I want to first plug you. Say once again, I appreciate the persistence because I'm glad we got to drop this value.
Thank you.
I've been able to hang out with you multiple times now, and you're the real deal. I love your spirit, your soul, your smile. Just it's amazing what you're doing. So I want to first plug, if there's any Maddix addicts, as I like to call my fan base, if there's any Maddix addicts out there watching this, make sure to follow my girl. If anybody watching this and you're already on the podcast, you're listening to it every once in a while, you're listening to interviews, start listening to everything that she puts out. That is the secret. As far as where you can find me, it would mean the world to me. Here's a little another secret nugget I'll give you. Is one thing I found about connect with influencers is there's always their secret way to capture their attention. There's either an app that they have, there's either a person that they have, but there's always that one thing that you can do that'll get their attention. My thing, I'm going to share it with you guys, is I love whenever people mention me in their stories on Instagram. I don't know why, but I see it every time. I see every single time. So my call to action is I want you guys to screenshot this, whether you're listening to audio, watching the interview, wherever it's at, screenshot this right now. Let's look good for a second. Ready? Let's look good. Ready? Here we go. Okay, screenshot it, take it, and then go post it on your story and make sure to tag both me and her and like find our handles. I'm at Caleb Maddix on Instagram. You guys know her
at Carolina
well.
Millan. Yes.
There you go. I like it. They're very simple. We got the names. Boom. Tag both of us and just say what you thought about the interview, and I'll be following some of you guys back. Follow me there and connect. If you guys have any questions, shoot me a message. I'd love to send some video responses back and connect with all you guys. So much love. Thanks so much for your time, and good stuff, man. Sat here trying to provide value. So appreciate the your time and attention means the world to us. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Caleb. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to see you and talk to you again, hopefully not so far away in the future.
Exactly. It'll be shortly. I got to get you those 3 signed books now.
Yes,
sure.
yes. And say hi to your dad for me.
Will do. I'll make it happen.
Have a good day. Thank you.